Here we are again, Blade fans. Welcome back. This old sword with you. And yep, I bit the bullet and picked up a humongous cold steel folder. Promised myself I wouldn't get into too many of these, and there are so many more because, as we know, Cold Steel is noted for their super large folders, along with a full range of all other sizes. Not a big fan of lockbacks, but I do have a few. But what appealed to me with this Luzon, and we'll talk more about it in a moment, is that it is a liner lock. It's a liner lock that also has an additional safety, and I'll cover some of the things I like about it. And we can do a compare with some other cold steel knives as well. So I was at my local Army barrack shop, and I got to thank Ryan and the gang over there in Connecticut for putting out, having a nice big showcase full of blades. And this was one of them. It's been there for a while. So after clearing off the sticker and the smudges, because it was kind of a display model, we've got this Luzon with a 6-inch blade, double thumb studs, GRN FRN handle, GRN clip. We'll talk about that in a moment too. And after using it a little bit in the store, it's like, wow, amazing how smooth the action is on this guy. I believe it is on bearings. Certainly feels like it. Nice and smooth. Got enough space in there for bearings. So let's talk about it. The name Luzon comes from the largest island in the Philippines. And as we all know, Lynn Thompson, who designed many of the knives that Cold Steel sells, along with Andrew Demko and his locking system and so forth. This was named after the northern largest island in the Philippines. It is the country's largest and most populous island. It's known for its mountains, beaches, coral reefs, and is home to Manila, the national capital. So when we talk Manila and Batangas, we're also talking two different styles of balisong. So this fits right in with the style of blade used on many of the original indigenous balisongs from the Philippines. So yeah, it's heavily branded with the name Luzon, and branded with Cold Steel and the steel, which is 8 CR13 MOV. So yeah, it's not a super steel, but it's a good serviceable steel. And I already did sharpen it up on a diamond bench stone, and it took quite a nice edge because it came through not really that sharp, and got some good meat there. Here is the double lock. This is, I'm told, an Andrew Demko design. It's a long throw, and it's very positive. And what it does is slide that additional bar of steel right there between the liner and the side of the handle. So when that's in place, you cannot budge that liner. And the liners on this are quite thick, quite robust, and as with any cold steel knife, it is well built, even for the money. And I think MSRP on these is like $69 and change. So you're getting a big knife with a decent steel and solid construction for that money. Now, the clip a lot of people complain about because it is also a GRN/FRN, fiberglass reinforced nylon. Some people have complained that theirs broke. I don't see that possibility unless you do something to pull it way out of whack, and FRN is known for its flexibility and strength, but beyond a certain point it probably will break. I've slid it in and out of the pocket and it actually works quite well, and I don't know cold steel to build too many things that don't work well. So for a large knife you only have about 3/4 of an inch sticking out of your pocket, which isn't too bad. Got a lot of grip on this. The handle was designed to look like the growth rings in a shaft of bamboo. I do like, take that off, I like the way they set up the liner, in that you got a cutout for your finger, but what they did was expose a lot more of the liner than you would normally get, so you can push on that. It's a strong liner and easily close the knife. But so far I haven't seen it disengage accidentally. 3 opening methods with this: flipper and thumb stud. Works well. And this second Killian here, or guard, when you pull it out of the pocket, will easily wave it open, and I've done that successfully on a number of tries. Hasn't failed yet. So just pulling back a little bit catches that guard and she opens right up. So one draw, blade is open, and believe me, everybody around you will take about 5 steps back. It's pretty impressive. There's your lanyard hole, and let's pull out the old tape measure and see if I can even fit it in here. So we're talking 13.5 inches overall, with a 6-inch blade and a 6-inch cutting edge. That alone is quite impressive. Blade stock in millimeters is, what is it? It doesn't want to hold still. 3.6 millimeters. Handle thickness, let's take it at the one of the widest ridges, 0.72. So yeah, it's a thick handle, but considering the overall length of the handle, it's not too fat. I mean, how skinny are you going to get on a handle that long? And yeah, it could be a two-hander for sure. But one of the advantages is you can hold that out at the very end, and Lynn says he designed the pommel so it kind of fits into the palm of your hand, and you've got a long reach for thrusting. And was this designed as a combat tactical fighting knife? Yes, but I have heard from some people that reviewed this knife that have actually used it as a large kitchen knife. And as kitchen knives go, 6 inches isn't that long. But with that edge and that flat grind, is it flat or hollow? I'm going to call that flat. Flat grind with a swedge and what I would call a Bowie clip trailing point, something like that. It's quite effective at prepping food, so you could use this for camping, whatnot. You know, most of the purpose of Lynn's large knives are tactical and combat, but many of them also serve excellent food prep and utility purposes. Finally, we're going to weigh this guy out, and it, as you suspect, it isn't going to be light. Yep, we've got 9.22 ounces. I'll call it 9.23 ounces. That's a pretty good weight, but considering again the size of this, it is doesn't really feel like an anchor in your hand. It's just a large knife. So how about next to the Frenzy Frenzy was my largest knife until the Luzon came along. And the 8015, I never really considered a large knife, but it is a pretty good size one. Pretty beefy knife in the normal category of about 3.5 inches, 3 3/4 inches. Excellent Andrew Demko's Scorpion lock on this one. It is probably my favorite cold steel knife, and I've only got a few. Mainly these three, plus a Kobun fixed blade. This is very thin and light, so if we look at the Frenzy next to the Luzon, it's definitely a much, much thinner handle. And it is a lockback. It is the forward lock triad lock system. It's a little bit tough to close, but I think it's going to break in if I use it a little bit more. By the way, what you noticed here was a specially made custom clip by Pops Clips for the 8015. Kind of a neat, if you wanted to go deep carry on your cold steels. Obviously, you don't have to go deep carry on something that size. Just to give you a sense of scale again, there is the usually large Rat 1 from Ontario, and it's just a little bit smaller, don't you think? So there we have the Luzon, fighting knife inspired by Filipino martial arts, designed by Lynn Thompson, cold steel, and I'm kind of liking it. What really struck me was the action on this and how smooth that thing is for such a large knife, and how easy it is to open. Swings right open with authority. Doesn't matter what method you use to open it. So there you have it, a extra large cold steel folder, a 6-inch cold steel Luzon. Hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to give it a like. Be back with you soon.